Good afternoon, and welcome to the Software Engineering Institute's webinar series. My name is Shane McGraw, and I'd like to thank you all for attending today's webinar. Our webinar series presentation today is Assurance Cases for Medical Devices by Chuck Weinstock. And at this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Chuck Weinstock. Chuck, all yours.
Well, thank you, Shane. Get this started here. So I'm going to talk to you about assurance cases for medical devices, and we'll start out by talking about how software is making up an ever-increasing percentage of medical device functionality, and the industry, the medical device industry, is not immune to the problems of all the other industries that have experienced growth in software. There are no silver bullets. There always seem to be silver bullets promoted, but there aren't any, and insurance cases are not silver bullets. But all these industries experience the same sorts of problems and have to start from the beginning unless they learn from other industries. And so we're trying to bring over some technology that has proven useful in other industries to the medical device community. Specific concerns for medical devices, as it says on the slide, include patient privacy, especially HIPAA regulations, safety, and of course regulatory issues. The industry itself is moving towards plug and play, where the patient is actually part of the network. You have a heart monitor hooked to a patient, which is also hooked to a infusion pump, and there can be feedback where the patient is part of the network. So it's an interesting problem that we got involved in a number of years ago. We go back with assurance cases to around 2003, maybe a little bit before. We had some initial contact with the FDA in 2006, got involved with the group AdvaMed, which is an industry group. Starting in 2007, we've had a couple of workshops with them. We participated in one of their conferences. In 2007, we started a project on medical device assurance cases. This was an internally funded project, although we worked with the FDA, and we worked with the University of Pennsylvania, and we worked with a couple of device manufacturers. And the result of that was the report that this talk is basically based upon. In 2010, the FDA issued draft guidance, which at least referred to our report as something relevant to the guidance. And this was guidance for the infusion pump. Now I'm going to talk about things that the FDA is thinking in this talk, but it's our view of what the FDA is thinking. It is not necessarily the whole truth. That is, I don't speak for the FDA, and you need to keep that in mind. So, an overview of the talk: I'm going to talk about the assurance problem. Then I'm going to introduce the assurance case in some more generality. I'm going to talk about recent FDA guidance regarding assurance. One of the tools we use for producing assurance cases is goal structuring notation, and I'm going to spend some time on that and give an example. I'm going to talk about the use of patterns and archetypes. I'm going to talk about tooling, and then I'll wrap up with some concluding thoughts. And for those of you who are not watching the webinar, we're going into the assurance problem on slide 10. And I'll turn it over to Shane for a minute.
Okay, folks, for our first polling question today, we would like to know, why are you attending this webinar? Number one, my company has an immediate need to use assurance cases for a medical device. Number two, my company has an immediate need to use assurance cases, but not necessarily for a medical device. I've heard about assurance cases and want to find out more about them. Or number four, other. Okay, pretty broad mix. We're at 27% have a need for a medical device, and 20% on other, and 47% just looking for more information on what assurance cases are. Okay, folks, thanks for your participation in that. Back to you, Chuck.
Okay, now we're on slide 11, and thank you for your interest in assurance cases. We really appreciate having you here. I wanted to start here with our definition of what assurance is. And we define assurance to be justified confidence that a system will function as intended in its environment of use. There's lots of pieces to this, and they bear more scrutiny. So let's start with the justified confidence part. The questions we ask are, why should we have confidence? What evidence is there to support this confidence? Why should we believe the evidence? And it is not enough to provide the evidence without an explanation of its significance. And that's what the assurance case is all about.